Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Kristen Hatcher, and with me today is Paul Boyer, as always, who is the lead designer
seem like
on
I'm here a
Galactic
lot.
Civilizations 3. I do think you're here a lot. We've got a treat for you today. We're going to talk about the Snathi. Well, we've talked about the Snathi in the past, but you actually get a glimpse of them today.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about 1.3.
And we're going to talk about 1.3. As always, if you have a question for us in the chat stream, go ahead and type that in, but use at Stardock before you do, and that way we'll know it's for us. Or rather, it'll be more easy for me to find those questions, and we can answer them as we go through. All right. Hello, Paul.
Hello. Okay, so today I am running actually the internal build of 1.3. It's not 100, 1.3 is pretty much locked. We are going to tweak. We've already gotten a bunch of feedback about the governors and stuff, so we're going to tweak some of that for final release next week. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, show some stuff that the people who've already got the opt-in have already seen. But I wanted to actually tease the Snathi a little. So we're going to go here and go to campaign. And now you'll see down here is Revenge of the Snathi. Okay, now.
Sorry, go ahead.
Is it, are we going through and everything? All right.
No.
So we have Revenge of the Snathi campaign here. The concept behind the Snathi campaign is a little bit comical. It is set in the existing galaxy, but I push it a little. I make the humans dickier than they are. Well, I don't know. People play the humans, so maybe. And then so we're gonna start this out. Okay, so the premise is that the Snathi have been. This is the Snathi Revenge. Okay, so the Snathi Revenge were at the end of the Dreadlord War. We're banished to this desolate corner of the galaxy, surrounded by broken worlds, hence all the asteroids, and they're being guarded by these Arnoran robot ships and stations that kind of keep them pinned in. So the idea is that, okay, so Snathi, you start off and your robot advisor says, hey, we've finished building a shipyard out in the asteroid field and no one's blown it up yet. So, and we've managed to make a ship that can get around. So we're going to, you can ask, and this will give you a little bit more backstory. You can ask, and you'll say, we've located 3 our war. The idea is that, okay, so Snathi, you start off and your robot advisor says, hey, we've finished building a shipyard. So here we are. We start with field and no one's blown it up yet. Mediocre planet. So, and we've managed to make a ship asteroid that can get around. This is a large map. So you can ask, and this will give you a little bit more backstory. You can ask, and you'll say, we've located 3 our war. The idea is that, okay, so Snathi, you start off and your robot advisor says, hey, we've finished building a ship. So here we are. We start with field and this one's blown it up yet. Mediocre. So, and we've managed to make a ship asteroid that can get around. This is a large map. So you can ask, and this will give you a little bit more backstory. You can ask, and you'll say, we've located 3 our war. The idea is that, okay, so Snathi, you start off and your robot advisor says, hey, we've finished building a ship. So here we are. We start with field and this one's blown it up yet. Mediocre. So, and we've managed to make a ship asteroid that can get around. This is a large map. So you can ask, and this will give you a little bit more backstory. You can ask, and you'll say, we've located 3 our war. The idea is that, okay, so Snathi, you start off and your robot advisor says, hey, we've finished building a ship. So here we are. We start with field and this will give you a couple improvements that are just randomly put on, so you can you have to rearrange this plan if you want, but. So no one's blown it up yet. So we've managed to make a ship asteroid. All right. So once you start the see here is this one is a little baby. Cigar. So I can probably take this out.
People are complaining on the chat stream here that they have bad echo, and I'm not sure how to fix that.
Is maybe there another mic up somewhere?
I
Am I talking? If I talk quieter?
No, I don't think that will help. Let's see. To everybody on the stream, can you hear us? And are you still getting echo? And now we have to wait for the stream to catch up with the question.
In the meantime, I'll show off this little, here's some of Snappy ships. And the funny thing is about the Snappy is I wanted them to be kind of scavengery, and I had said to the artist, a little bit trailer trashy, and we ended up with this, one of the main parts looks kind of like a trailer. So they use this a lot, but you can see they're kind of banged up. They actually pillage a couple parts from other races to kind of, we want this kind of scavenger theme. So here's a Snappy survey ship. Turn it. Now my advisor comes up and says, oh, by the way, our new ship, which you are flying around, just discovered a strange anomaly. A stress call coming. So I hit OK, and I get this message, voice only, which is ironically text only. And this is a Terran ship that has been trapped in an energy field. And, their crew is slowly dying. So of course, being Snappy, you're like, and you go over there, and they insult the Dreadlords, you get offended. And there they are. So I'm going to go over there and get this ship. Now, if I die at this point, well, I still only have the one ship. The mission's over and I have to start over. But if I go get this, oh, I got it. This is really nice to have. Actually, oh, that's good enough. I'm going to count that little warp there. All right, so now they're like, hey, the crew is dead. We could probably scavenge the ship. So the theme, the overall theme of the Snappy is that they are scavengers. So I get here, I get the anomaly, and oh, look, I can get to keep the ship. This is my way of giving you a tool to escape the wardens. And then once you have that, it also says, oh, here are the main warden star bases that are keeping us pinned in. So you have to kill these 3 star bases before you can really move on. Here's a warden ship, which is some people who troll the mods forum will recognize this was actually a Dreadlord prototype that we built, and I liked it so much I put it in here as the warden ship. So I'm going to go over here and with this awesome Terran ship. Now this isn't a Crusader class ship, but it's a pretty badass ship. If you go on a tirade, you will former home planet, and the way to win is to go get it from them. So it's a little bit of a reverse version of the base campaign. I want to get to, maybe I can get to where the, let me really quick see if I can get to where the, maybe I'll turn off turn actions really quick. I don't actually want to have to play.
Apparently nobody can hear right now, but I don't know how to fix it. Go ahead and keep talking,
Okay.
sorry.
Oops. Oh, I still didn't scavenge that.
So they can scavenge.
They can scavenge because they hear us as a, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so they scavenge. That's their racial trait. Now, if you have the, I guess I don't actually want to go too much further. I might end up dying if I keep doing this. They also, one of their abilities is that their tactical repair is very fast. That's part of their super cool scavenging ability. So anyway, so yeah, so this is how you more or less get rolling, and then the Terrans will show up and taunt you, and you have to then go kill the Terrans. Now, while you're establishing yourself, there's a bunch more of those warden bases out here, and they will harass you as you build up. But so essentially, the point is you need to build up a nice solid empire so that you could be a challenge to the Terrans to take back your home planet. So that's the summary of that. Oh look, here's what's this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and exit the campaign. Can they still not hear us?
It sounds like they can hear you okay now, or it seems like, I shouldn't say sounds like. But we may want to, we're apparently having some technical difficulties, so we may not want to make this a long stream.
Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and skip out of that and go to well, I will touch on one more. Okay, so here's the Snathy DLC. Because, like I said, we have this missing background, but the background is here. Here they have the scavenger racial ability. Now that gives you a 25% chance of capturing enemy ships. But if you are playing the Snathy, in their tech tree, there are techs that increase that chance. I think you could get it up to like 90% if you're lucky. Okay. You can get up to like 90% if you do the whole tree. So and then of course they have like they're fragile. They actually have a hit point negative, but they repair really fast. So that makes up they're dense because they're small. They can fit more stuff in. Now another thing, if you create a custom race and you have the DLC, you will also now be able to choose scavenger yourself. So that opens up a lot of a new ability for everybody. So let's go ahead and start as the Snathy. Let's do a small because it always works better when everybody starts killing each other immediately. Uh-oh. Well, internal build. Okay, let me try this one more time. Yeah, that's why we're still testing these things. So is that?
Well, that's why we do these Twitch streams for people who are interested in game design and development.
Do you just have that way up there because?
Nobody can hear you on yours.
Really?
Yeah.
Hello up there. Okay. And now we're having a crash. does it think the game is still running? Well, this is embarrassing. Let's see. How's that? Can they hear me now? If I
Yeah.
talk a little louder.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how much everybody missed, but campaign starts. You play Snappy. You escape Arnorian prison. You kill humans, and then you optionally kill Dredgen. That's pretty much the premise behind that. New scavenger ability, new Snathy race, new Snathy parts. That's all pretty standard. And now we're going to play a game. Do we have any questions? It'd be hard to answer.
We do have questions, but they're about governors. Do you want to answer them?
Oh, everybody's mad about the governors.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to answer them, but let's talk about
All right.
governors. Because we have already gonna make changes.
Right now, right now, the governors seem to really like something like 28, 28, 48, which cripples specialized worlds, and we can't seem to adjust the ratios like we can in AI strategy defs.xml. Can these be made a little more sane, like at least 80, 10, 10?
The governors currently don't actually do that. The governors just shift whatever your existing one is. So if you are 60, 10, if you're 33, 33, 33, and the governor gives you a shift of wealth to 10 of 10, that means you'll be 44, 26, 26 or whatever. They don't actually they're not pushing you all the way around. The idea behind them, we're actually going to change this already, so don't really worry about it. We're gonna make it so that you set a focus. Now this is gonna make everybody mad because we are going to have to just get rid of the planet spending wheel, and everybody's going to murder me. They're gonna come by and shoot me. And we have a bunch of proposed solutions, all of which just add more micromanagement to making the what we don't want is the player to feel like they have to go to the planet every turn. The idea behind the governors, which are already changing, was to allow you to pick a governor, and that would essentially give you a little bit of a shift. If you're one of those people who really wants to focus on manufacturing, you could give that planet a shift. But it just really turns out to where, for the most part, unless you're a min-maxer, it's not fun to have to go to 50 planets and manually adjust the spending. What we will let you do, and we're going to get rid of the prerequisites and everything, we're going to let you go in and just pick a focus. You say, this planet should focus on manufacturing. And that will shift it the way these existing bonuses do. It will shift it X that way. And then if you get higher level techs, it might be able to shift it further that way. But then you're not going back and forth and changing those every turn. So it's not ideal, but that's pretty much what we seem to be landing on.
Okay.
So start the yelling now.
Everybody is yelling about ditching the wheel. Brad apparently just posted that on the forums just now as well, so they have confirmation.
I mentioned it like the last two streams that we were probably going to have to do it, and I tried really hard to save it, but yeah, Brad is pretty adamant about it, and he's convinced me that it's the right thing to do. Okay. I actually, if anything, I was reluctant to do it now and thought it might be better to do it in the first expansion as a major change. But the problem is, like you said, it's crippling to the AI because the players can they can min-max so much that we just can't compete with it. And not even that, we could actually make the AI min-max a little better, actually a lot better, probably. We have some plans, that was part of this overhaul, was to make the AI do that. But the problem is, players still feel obligated to go to each planet and adjust the spending, in which case that's a bunch of micromanagement, And some people just get really frustrated by that, and whereas the hardcore people love it. So it's been a very difficult decision to get rid of that. Then one of the other things we're doing that will probably make people mad, while I'm in this, I'm making people mad, is we're going to make the economic stimulus, all the planetary projects cap at 100%. So right now it's possible. Well, we had there's a couple options. Like one of the Brad suggested we just make it so the economic stimulus is just a flat bonus. But then the problem is the player goes, oh, well, I need to have 1 point of production. So you end up creating this like, well, I have to make sure it's at least 1 point of production so that I get this economic stimulus, and you're creating micromanagement. So what we're going to do is just leave it as it is, but they'll cap it 100%. So if you have a killer planet, you're not wasting all those factories late game, but you can't, it also makes it so you can't just go, well, I never need to build economic improvements. I never need to do any of these things because I can get a 2,000% bonus from economic stimulus at 500 turns into the game. So that's going to make people mad. But I think in the long run it'll make the game feel much more balanced.
Okay, we have another question. Well, first of all, the CW said, what is wrong with being willing to micromanage every planet? If I want to micromanage hundreds of planets, then I should be able to do that.
I normally would agree with you, but it's it's just too much. It's just too much for, I don't know. We have, like I said, I've had multiple options. We've run over multiple options. All of them just create more micromanagement or don't really reduce it. And our number one complaint is the shipyards, which we're going to address in 1.4. I mean, not the shipyards, the constructors. But our second complaint is just the micromanagement of planets, and I just think that it's probably for the best that we just cut it now and hope that people that will play it and go, yeah, you're right. It's a better. It's not even that it's not fun. The problem is it's really fun to get this crazy planet production. The problem is it breaks the flow of the game. There is no build up if you could just ramp right up to 100% in everything, and it just breaks the flow of the game. And then people go, oh, the AI is stupid because the AI is not doing these crazy min maxes. And anyways, there's a lot more to it. And this is actually a really good question. I know Brad was talking about in the forums to read about the forums, and most of these thoughts have been expressed there.
Zingo7 asked, he said there's an Endless Space 2 coming from Amplitude, and they have a new video showing gameplay. They have managed to get animated turrets in dynamic battle sequence, which Galciv 3 lacks yet. So how do you look at the competition? How do you look at the competition from them, as Battle Viewer has so much potential?
Well, we actually have a lot of ideas like that too. That in Endless Space, they don't have our crazy ship designer, so that's why they can have those animated turrets and stuff a little better. We do have some ideas how to do more stuff like that, but most of those things will be pushed off. Will be in our major overhauls, so they'll be in the expansion.
Okay.
The first expansion.
Jono LR asked, will we be getting a scenario editor?
There's not really an easy way to make a scenario editor that's like an in-game scenario editor. I could probably release the one I use, which is an XML, which is an Excel sheet, and you can make your own scenarios. I just would need to spend a little time cleaning it up. Sure. But yeah, we could make it so you could make your own scenarios. I love that. As a matter of fact, once we get full modding support in, I'd love to have a whole category for scenarios.
Awesome. There are no other questions at the moment. Do you want to talk any more about the Snathy or the Snathy Revenge?
Oh, hey, look, it's right here. Actually, I'm just going to soak because...
Okay.
So no other questions. Let me
at the
soak
moment.
a little so that I can get some fleets and stuff so we can show off some of the new things. So one of the easiest first things you notice is there's now 6 tabs here. So there's a shipyard tab. There is a new planet filter, so you can now list by manufacturing, research, wealth, influence, population, or approval. So you can really quickly list your planets, which
Nice.
when you have a big empire is been problematic in the past. And then more importantly, now you can, oh look, this is that bug. We gotta, okay, so this is a ship here, this SS Sneak One. That is so weird. Let me get a fleet going here.
While you're doing that, Ed Ladner asked, are there limits on the amount of ship designs?
No.
No. Good.
Well, there's memory limits. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
you could eventually kill your game by just having too many, but I don't think there is no hard-coded limit.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge. If it is, it's probably like 65,000 or something like that. It would be just a memory allocation thing.
Okay. Larsenix asked in regard to the sort by abilities that you're showing here, can we get the main list default sorted as alphabetized?
Isn't it already? You know what? He looks like he left alphabetized off here. Yeah, I'll make sure that gets back in. That was supposed to be the default. Yes.
Okay.
So here you could go by strength, by military might, by defense, by hit points, by moves, by logistics. And then you can see here, he doesn't have any fleets yet. Yeah, there is this bug. Somebody reported this, and I said, oh, that's impossible. But there it is, where these single ships are not showing up with their whole details. So these are now, because it's early game, you can see that these are all single ships. But as they stack up, there'll be fleets, and they collapse. They're collapsible.
Okay.
Look at that. I wonder if that's maybe because I'm so keen in there, it's refreshing too fast. Hey, Mara, can you look at that?
Creature of Existence asked, why not add tabs with a custom option to it with an X% we have chosen to go for example, just a planet added to the tab and then the planet will go for those settings?
I think I kind of know what you're talking about. I mean, I guess I sure maybe I don't.
Why not add a tab with a custom option to it with X% we have chosen to go for?
X% of what?
For example, just a planet added to the tab, and then the planet will go for those settings.
So he's talking about spending.
I think he's talking about spending.
Yeah, that was one of the options, was to actually have a preset settings that could go into like the governor and it could build up. But that also turned out to be essentially just one more thing players would have to manage.
Shazel asked, will there be a penalty for ships coming into my zone of influence without having any open borders? My last game, the AI sent 250 ships in my territory and didn't declare war.
Really? Usually if the AI, at that point, okay, now if you sent 250 ships into his territory, he would probably declare war on you. Because you're a human, we can't like override that. You have to make that decision yourself. But yes, in 1.2.4, we're doing a bunch of get off my lawn diplomacy.
Nice.
So that will help a little bit.
Nasty Tang asked, can you add ascending and descending to the planets list for each category?
I thought we had that too. Oh, well, I only have one planet, so it's hard to tell. Probably, I think we were going to do that. Maybe it just isn't in yet.
You click it and then you click it again and it sorts the other way. Mm-hmm.
But I am surprised alphabetical is not on here. But I guess because it wasn't alphabetical was the default before. So here's a sample of the Snappy. Here's this Snappy Prime fleet. It's just a bunch of pests.
Yeah.
And you can see here I have it expanded. I can collapse it. So it says there's six ships in here. Oh, look, there's a clipping thing. I can fix that. And here's our TAC, but I could go, oh, what's the actual fleet? And here's the individual ships themselves. Or I can go to fleet. And those should remember to stay or collapse or not. So this should make managing fleets much more easily. I'd like to actually also work on renaming these fleets a little smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, now that I think about it, this is actually Snappy Prize Fleet. This is the defending force. So that's these guys. So even my defending fleets now show up in this list.
Okay. So there was a follow-up to the question about, is there a limit to ship designs? People are saying that after about 700 designs, they start losing ships. That sounds like a bug, and if you have saved games or anything that you can, send in, that would probably be helpful.
I've never heard this. How is it I've never heard this? Okay, yeah, if you can send in a bug, if that is the case, maybe it's on the forums that I just haven't
Seen it?
Because, but it seems like that'd be something that would have been brought to my attention pretty quick because I'm a ship design guy. So yeah, no, there should be no hard limit, but I will confirm that. If it was like 768 and they disappeared after that, then that would make me suspicious that it was actually a hard-coded limit.
I see. But
yeah.
they just said around 700.
Yeah,
so.
that's weird. And they start losing ships. That's what's terrifying to me.
Yeah. So, switching gears slightly, somebody asked on the notifications tab, could we add a clear all notifications?
Yes. Matter of fact, I thought we had one, but yeah, we could add that.
Okay.
We're probably not until in 1.1. I'm gonna get the notification system. I mean, not 1.1. In the first expansion, I want to redo it's too hidden in this tab. So what we're probably gonna do is reverting to something a little more like Galciv, where they drop down this side of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing that in Sorcerer King, and I kind of like it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal theirs.
Oh, good. All right, now we have a whole bunch of questions. So let me see if I can. Let's see. Zapgun for Hire asked, is trading for custom unique text still coming in around 1.5 or so?
That is the current plan, but it's harder than I had hoped. It's going to end up, at the very least, will be in the first expansion.
Okay. With regard to the get off my lawn stuff, AI can currently beg, demand stuff more often than you can trade, giving you only the option to refuse over and over again until you get a trade option available again. If it's something you would trade but not give, can they both follow the same timeout? And I know...
yeah, I'll look into that. I thought that they did, but I remember we had to make it, there were certain things, like diplomatic things that would occur that had to override the timeout limit.
Yeah.
So maybe when we did that, just regular requests are now getting through. So
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
Well, I tell you, the Thalens are beggars. They're absolute panhandlers.
I've heard that, panhandlers.
Yeah.
I think it's because you have the same ideology.
Yeah, probably.
Oh wow, look at that. They're going a lot of fun.
With regard to diplomacy, Eris Child said, when do I get a notification of turns left until they will talk to me? Please?
That is on my list. Actually, I wanted to put it up here. So when you mouse over
Oh, interesting.
this, it'll say Iridium, because this is how I always get to them.
Right.
Right. I wanted to put here where it says, I'm at war. It should say, you're at war with these people, or maybe at the very least have a tooltip. This was actually on my list for 1.3, but we didn't have time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a tooltip there that says relation to them, with a little slider, and it'll say turns till you can talk.
Okay.
And that way you don't bother going here, oh, I can't talk to them.
Right.
Yeah, so that is definitely on my, we actually, the primary focus of 1.4 will be diplomacy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got a lot of touch up for this screen that'll be in that.
Joe Noel R. asked, what are the plans for further work to the battle viewer and or combat?
Well, we're gonna the major like actual gameplay combat stuff won't be till the expansion, but we are going to do a lot of stuff to kind of make the battles look a little better. We're gonna put in some post processor effects. We're gonna try and get the movement a little more natural, and we want to bring back some camera shake and some stuff like that. Now, in the first expansion, we're going to introduce some more mechanics, and that'll change things up a little more. But those are a little too beefy for a patch, and we obviously don't want them to be DLC because everybody should get them. So.
All right. What else you have going on here?
Let's see. Really quick here. I can select a ship. Select this ship to go to, and we redid this. So now you can actually see star bases, rally points, colonies, shipyards. So and then I don't think in this build it works, but if you click this, it'll blink over here, so you can tell exactly where you're sending your ship. And this makes that set destination thing much more useful.
Oh, good.
So this is a big deal. A couple little more patches to make on this before we go to full release.
Is it in opt-in right now?
It is in opt-in as of yesterday.
As of yesterday, okay.
And we've already found a bunch of things that we want to fix.
Okay.
So we get no lack of feedback.
So would the Battle Viewer stuff be patched before the expansion? Do you think?
The cosmetic stuff, yes, will be in
okay.
patches.
All right.
But like I said, we're not going to change any major gameplay stuff until the expansion.
Creature of Existence said the AI could use prototype technology a lot more as weapons since they seem to not use them despite the huge amount of star bases they have.
That is weird because they're supposed to, but they're not. So we're looking into that, actually. They really should be. They should use every resource they get, and for some reason they're not, and they end up trading them. So that is one of the things. Okay, so 1.4, we're going back to just focusing on AI, and, AI and diplomacy. Those are the two main things. And we're going to tweak the governors a little more. We're going to because people, I lost. Because we're not happy with what we have. So governors are going to get another pass. AI, we really want to just spend a bunch of time on AI. So that's our number one priority. And then these kind of relationship diplomacy modifiers and stuff like that. So that's our number one focus for that. The cosmetic stuff on the Battle Viewer will also be in 1.4, and probably the Starbase refactor, the construction stuff, will be in 1.5.
All right. Larsenik said, I know Paul and Adam likely tire of the streams, but I really, really appreciate you all taking the time to do them. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad, even though I'm getting going.
You're not, well, yeah, but ETA on the non-opt-in beta, a non-opt-in 1.3, I can't remember the date that we have. Next week, yeah.
Assuming everything goes smoothly,
right.
Usually they go on Thursday.
Right. Assuming...
if something goes wrong, if people give us yet another... If somebody gives us... if we have something that's so good that, we have to do it, we might push it. If there's a bug that's so bad that we need to push it, we might push it. Right. Right now, it's pretty stable. We're just literally we have some problems with balance, and that's the type of stuff. And cosmetics. I'm not happy with this list entry, little things like that. But as a rule, everything is working. Everything is as designed, and so that's when we'll release 1.4 at 3, and then start it on 1.4 and.
We'll go from there.
And go from there. Yeah. And now 1.4 should be a little more beefy as far as the AI improvements because we have a little more time. So we're really going to jump in and focus on that for 1.4.
Zapgun for Hire said more UP resolutions in 1.4, maybe DLC?
Well, I would want to do UP resolutions as DLC.
No, I think he was referring to those as two separate things. Will we
Oh,
get DLC?
There
Will
will
we get
probably
more?
be one. There'll probably be at least one more DLC before we, settle in for the
Yeah,
working on the expansion.
gotcha.
But I know we have the draft chompy to get out.
Yeah. Ed Ladner asked, are there plans to add auto attack command for fleets?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that is. Here I keep saying, well, it's just diplomacy and it's just AI, but actually there was one other thing that's going to be 1.4 is we're going to add more directives. I want to have a patrol, I want to have auto attack, we want to have 2 new forms of rally point, like an auto fleet and a wait, so you could go there and wait until you have enough fleet, and then you'll ask for until you reach max logistics, then it will ask for directive as opposed to going there and piling up at each side and just harassing you. And then we're going to have an auto attack, which will then also have an auto attack rally point where you could say, go over here, kill anything that's around there that you can kill, that you think you can kill. And so yes, those are coming. Those should be in 1.4.
Okay. Gilmoy asked, how about auto pounce in own zone of influence?
That would be patrol.
Patrol. That's what Eris Child said, yes.
Yes, that would be patrol.
Okay.
Which is the difference between patrol and sentry. Sentry is, and we might even make sentry behave a little bit more like patrol, because right now sentry just sits there, whereas I'd like to have it kind of do a holding pattern.
Right.
It'll make the game look a little more interesting. It'll also make things not look stupid just standing there.
Sailor said he doesn't really understand the bug icon for the Snathy. And then he put a little
it's a bug. It's a
smiley
bug.
face.
It says it's a bug. It's an acorn, people.
It's it's adorable.
Have you looked at their starbase too? Look at that.
Let me see. Nice. Nice.
I was a little bit like, is that too on the nose? But it was funny, so I left it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do things just
and I
for-
actually we needed a new Snathy. We needed an icon for the Snathy Revenge. We were running out of colors, so I went with green and yellow because Brandon had made this cool ship material of this green and gold.
Mhm.
So I ended up going with green and yellow, and I wanted a little acorn, but I thought having an acorn would be too on the nose. So I put the little flares on it. And I never even thought, that looks like a bug. I thought, everybody's going to look at this and go, why does this acorn have flares? So that's funny. I'm actually quite amused by the fact that, holy crap. Oh, 1, 2. He said, that was crazy. He had 3. That was neat. But by the way, in 1.3 we tweaked Starbase build out. So the AI is a little smarter at building Starbases now, and he's a little less resource hoggy, just a little, and a little more build up my planet economic basis, which is an advantage to humans. I thought that planet had rings.
No.
Like, where is this?
Well, I'm thinking that it is 3:45 here in Stardock in Plymouth, Michigan, and we're having some sound troubles, so I think that we may go ahead and end the stream here. But we've had a number of questions answered, and we got to see the Snathy, so I think that was a good effort for this week. And
we'll be back next week with
There's any-
the official build.
that's right, with the
And,
official build, and we'll make sure our
And
sound
we'll
is
have-
working
and maybe
properly.
We'll have some good news for people who are worried about the governors
Yep,
and the planet sliders.
yep.
Except for the fact that we're still going to kill the planet sliders. So just what does they call it in politics? It's damage control.
Damage
or spin.
control.
I'm spinning
Spin.
it. Spinning it. It's a good thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and thank you for your kind words. It is a lot of work to do these streams, so it's nice to know that you guys actually really appreciate it, and that's why we do it. It's for you guys.
All right.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see y'all next week.
Okie dokie. Bye bye.